Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation, as always, goes to the elect. And while we're on the topic of exposing Esau, all right, as the Apostle Gabar said, expose him, expose him, expose him, all right, which is one of the many jobs of the prophets. All right, we're here to speak the end into existence, all right, which is why, you know, our message could seem like a broken record. All right, also within the job of the prophets, okay, which are the word of the Most High, the Most High's mouth, okay, as it is written, the priest, okay, is the mouth of the Most High, okay, the voice of the Lord, okay, is also fulfilled in the prophets. So when you read the book of 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, the scriptures tell us that at the very end, the wicked would be revealed. All right. And who are the wicked? The wicked are the Edomites in particular. Okay. All of them are the wicked. But more importantly, the elite and the ones that have power and control over the affairs of life. What's in the food, what's in the air, what's in your carpet, all right? Things that your what's in the clothing, all right? Because all of these things matter, all right? And only in these times are we understanding the depth of the wickedness of this nation of people in the scriptures known as the Edomites. And they do a good job of hiding themselves by throwing all manner of confusion in your face via entertainment, the media. Okay, they hijack souls in minds and feed you an alternate reality. Okay, which then they're able to hide in the background while everybody argues and balks back and forth about these fake, all right, situations that they create. Case in point, right now, there's a lady, okay, I believe she was I don't know if she was Epstein's girlfriend, but that case, okay, that court case is still going, all right? Now, you just had this designer who had ties with Kanye West, whose name was mentioned in that case, die off. He just died, all right? Just like Epstein just died. All right, before he could testify. Okay, now you wouldn't think that that case was going on. Why? Because you don't hear about it. But what you do hear about is a bunch of nonsense and enchantments that they're throwing in your face day in and day out, so that what? They can hide what's really going on. And they've been doing a good job of it. But as the scriptures say in the latter days, stand now with thine enchantments. And let's see if your enchantments are going to, you know, get you out of your punishment. Now, as you see on the screen here, bringing it all home, we always talk about the elite ruling families, okay, which you're not going to be walking around in Whole Foods or Walmart and rub elbows with one of these family members, okay? We always talk about the Rockefellers, the Duponts, okay, the Rothschilds, and so forth. All right, these and there's even some that we probably don't even know about, but these are the elite banking families that control everything around you. Okay, the only thing that they don't have control over is the Holy Spirit, which is why they're in cahoots. All right, but we're gonna play this video to show you that when we call this man the devil, we're not just saying it for fun. You know, I've been meditating on this, you know, and it's not just about slavery. See, when Esau, you know, tries to hijack, you know, movements where people are crying about oppression, They love to, marginalize the argument and make it about, all right, the common narrative of the wicked that they've done, all right, which is just slavery. All right, but there's layers to this man's wickedness. Slavery is just one piece of it. And he's going to pay for that. Don't get it twisted. But his crimes against humanity go far beyond slavery. Okay, so we're going to look at the Dupont family and this video, pretty good channel, the most evil business in the world, the Duponts. Now, we hear about the Duponts, the Gettys, and all of these various different families, like the Rockefellers, all right? They've funded some of the most wicked movements, all right, that have destroyed family for years. Okay? Case in point, feminism. Okay? All of these abortion clinics. These things are funded by particular families. Okay? And put and injected into cultures, man. And the result of what they've done and what they're pushing, their wine, as the scriptures say, he transgresseth by wine. As a matter of fact, let's get that. The book of Habakkuk. Now, with the Dupont family, you ever heard of Forever Chemicals? We're going to get into that and expose the evil of this family, which are Edomites. Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. These people are evil, wicked, all right, but they have control, all right, that they can't be defeated carnally with the control they have. They have to be defeated by a higher power, okay? Anyone thinking that they can carnally take down the power structure of the Edomites, okay, you're crazy, all right? Behold, I don't care how much you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans band together and say it's power in numbers and we need to band together. It's not going to work. Okay? The game is rigged. You damn sure ain't going to outshoot them. Okay? And you think you're going to go into his monetary field and win that way? Hell no. It's too janky. Okay? They can just reset the numbers, man. All right, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. And this is where we are. Okay, a lot of our people are still looking for a carnal answer, and there isn't one. All right, now you do what you can to put yourself in the best position to take care of your family, and help the brothers. But overall, that's not where our victory lies. Okay, the faith of the saints and the patient and the faith of the saints is where we get the victory, along with this testimony. It says, in the blood of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach at the forefront of it all. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine. Okay? And wine is a philosophy. All right? And his wine takes you off your course. I mean, his wine goes throughout all four corners of the earth. And the destruction that it has done to men, women, and children is it can't even be put in words. You see, like when I first started teaching, I was always saying he's the devil, but that was really just based upon slavery. But as I've grown in understanding of how the world works and what this man has done and the different, all of the stuff that's in the food, the water, the education. This dude, Obadiah is justified. And I have no problem in going on to the highways and the byways and openly telling the world that the Edomites will be exterminated and need to be. Okay? So he transgresseth by wine. Okay? His philosophy, which spread back into the earth at the time of what? The Renaissance period. Okay, that wine. and it has the whole earth drunken. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people, through witchcraft, through false events, through scare tactics, through psyops, okay, through weakening immune systems, destroying pineal glands, and more and more and more. So we're living at the time, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto him that increaseth in that which is not his, how long, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, that debt. Okay, that word thick clay is dealing with the debt of the bankers, which has everybody in slavery. And you think in a just society that would be on the news, talked about day in and day out. But somehow it's not mentioned. Why? Because they bought out the news. Okay? Anyway, let's deal with the Duponts. This wicked family of Edomites and what they've done.
So you're Dupont in the late 1930s. You're a chemical company that's been around for more than 100 years. Any company that's existed for that amount of time should have made a name for itself ages ago. But even though you're doing well, you just haven't really popped off yet. That was until 1938, when a doctor accidentally discovers a material called Teflon that's so versatile, so useful, so unbelievable, that it changes the course of Dupont forever. You know Teflon, the stuff used in non-stick pans.
Well, good thing it's Teflon.
Made with a chemical called C8, Teflon revolutionized the cooking industry for people all over the world.
They won't stick! That's why it's called non-stick! I don't know what non-stick means in Texas, sweetheart, but me!
And Teflon and C8 went on to be used in a ton of other consumer goods. Popcorn bags, waterproof jackets, dental floss, food containers, makeup, pizza boxes, all had some form of C8 or C8 derivatives in them. The only problem was C8 and most of the chemicals like it are extremely toxic and are what's known as forever chemicals because they never break down.
Okay, so we're you see forever chemicals. Now, just like Cain, okay, they know what to do. They know the right way. All right? But guess what? They choose the opposite. They've taken chemicals and things out of the earth, elements, and used them for evil. Okay? Now, I just typed in dangers of forever chemicals, and you can look this up on your own. Okay? Hundreds of everyday products are made by highly toxic fluorinated chemicals. Now, this messes with your pineal gland, your brain, your neurological system, and more. And we'll look it up. They build, it says, fluorinated chemicals called PFAs. Okay, this is why you when you're buying something, you see non-BPA, no this, no that. You shouldn't have to live a life like that. But under the devil's rule, hell, you're happy to see 100% beef. And you have to ask yourself, why? What else would it be? And why are all of these wicked chemicals and have meats and things like that able to make the markets where people buy food for their families? See, this is the importance of the kingdom of heaven being set up. Okay, our forefathers knew exactly where their food came from and the process that it went through to get to their plate. Now, when you look at what Esau's trying to do, he wants to track and cut out the middleman, cut out the farmer, all right, and from farm to fork have total control over the process of your food, even the grain, the soil the food comes out of. But that's a whole nother lesson, which that's contaminated here in this world. The soil is contaminated. Okay? There's a big, thick cloud of chemicals blocking the sun from doing what it's supposed to do with the plants. He has hijacked reality and created a pseudo way that is killing everybody. It says they build up in our bodies and never break down in the environment. Very small doses of PFAs have been linked to cancer, which is a real pandemic. You never seen this devil say, you know what? There's too many people catching cancer, so we need to give out free what they call chemo, which that's, chemotherapy is wicked. I mean, it does kill cancer cells, but in the process, it kills all of your other cells that are needed. So then what happens? Your hair falls out, all of these various different ailments you'll have forever. And now you have a whole new ailment. But yeah, it may kill the cancer, and then they'll tell you to stay out of the sun, but put you under light in the form of radiation. This man is the complete devil, man. And like I'm saying, it goes far beyond slavery. It says reproductive and immune system harm and other diseases. So you ever wonder why cancer is almost a guarantee now as a human being? Even children at a 10-year-old, 5-year-old are developing cancer. It has a lot to do with what's the food is cooked on, what you're drinking out of in the form of these plastic bottles, all of this BS. And it's done on purpose. Okay? And you can look that up on your own, or maybe, as we go in the video, we'll get into more. But yeah, and this is his channel. Let's go back here.
But what the public doesn't know, they'll keep buying. So we'll just keep this between us.
Now that's cooking.
So CA became widely used in a bunch of products that come in contact with people's food. And making CA takes a lot of work. A lot of work that produces a lot of chemical waste that we have to get rid of somewhere. So why not dump it in the waterways around our factories? I mean, come on, you're not gonna pay for expensive, responsible chemical waste disposal when there's a perfectly good river right there next to your factory. So over the decades, CA spread from the rivers into farms.
There's chemicals in the water, okay? These are the necessities of man that have been absolutely poisoned. What's that scripture? See if I can find it real quick. I'm battling, getting over ailments now. Okay? This is a sick, toxic environment on purpose, though. And these people have the money to fix all of these issues that are plaguing the world. But what are they doing right now currently? Forcing an agenda down your throat with something that technically, I'm not even going to get into that, man. And this is why you should hate the devil, man. I yearn for this man to be judged, man. Because he got us in this rat race. Okay? Anyway, let's see if I can find that scripture I'm looking for. Internet been running good. Now I do a video. Let's see here. Yep. Sirach 39 and 26. The principal things for the whole use of a man's life are water, fire, iron, salt, okay, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and the oil, and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly, but to the sinner they are turned into evil. Now, what does the scripture say about Esau? What is he known as in the scriptures? Okay. 2 Thessalonians 2. The man of sin. Let's see here. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. It says, let no man deceive you, because the end ain't going to come. Because a lot of the followers of Yahushua thought that was the end when he came at that time. What he's saying is, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. All right, 70 AD leading up, okay, to around 1970, when we finally woke back up. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, man of sin. Okay? Now, you had this dude come to our camp arguing, saying Israelites teach that other nations can't sin. Other nations can sin. Other nations just aren't under the covenant. All right? The first covenant dealing with Moses and Aaron and the Israelites being joined unto the Most High via the law, statutes, commandments, which we broke. And then you have the second covenant, which we're going to be have the laws written in us. But he can't. They do sinful acts. They're just not under the covenant. But he's known as the man of sin. And what does he do? He opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple, showing himself that he is God. So going back here, it says, to the sinners, these things are turned into evil. So the principal thing of a man's life are absolutely compromised. Okay? Water, absolutely destroyed. All sorts of chemicals and fluoride in the water. Especially if you're drinking it out of the sink. Here it is. You have access to water every day via the sink. But you don't drink it because you know that something's wrong with it. So then what do? You go to the store and buy water. Unless you're blessed to have a well or you know, to live in Alaska or something like that. All right. But the water is absolutely toxic. You go get bottled water. The plastic that it's in is toxic. The water is toxic. Then you brag and boast over drinking 9.9 pH water. You shouldn't have to do these things. Why are you bragging that you are happy you're getting water that is where it's supposed to be? And then when you really do the test, it's all bullshit. Okay, fire, iron used for evil, salt, chemical. It's just a bunch of damn chemicals, man. Right? Now they've figured out how to hijack pink Himalayan sea salt and black sea salt and make it to seem as if it's you know, real, but it's BS. That's why get you one of them salt lamps. In the case everything's shut down, you can break that up and crush it and cook with it. Pink Himalayan salt lamp. It says salt, flour of wheat. If you eat flour and wheat, pretty much it's gluten. All this damn gluten. Here it is. You getting vegetables and you see gluten free, vegan. Like what else would it? It's a vegetable. Then you think you're getting good food at Whole Foods and it ain't even real. Honey, destroyed. Toxic. Milk, oh my goodness, I can't even drink milk. And the blood of the grape, wine, all toxic. Okay? That cheap wine, oh my goodness. But all of it, if you have access to it, it's toxic. And clothing, the clothing, we've been going into how particular fabrics, all right, deal with the frequency of the body and how they systematically make clothing to dumb you down. Now, people don't think these things make sense, okay? But let's go back to the Duponts. Good old Dupont.
Into tap water, into the animals that we eat, and ultimately into us. To where today, 99.7% of Americans have C8 in their bloodstream, with C8 being linked to at least 6 diseases, including testicular cancer and kidney cancer. So how did an obscure chemical company get into the bloodstream of nearly every single American? And most importantly, how did they get away with it? Just asking for a friend. This is how DuPont poisoned the world.
This is how Dupont's poisoned the world.
Oh. Well, good thing it's Teflon.
This is why I try to, cook with stainless steel, which we just got to get out of here, man. It's too much.
Even burned food won't stick to Teflon, so it's always easy to clean. Cookware never needs scouring. If it has DuPont, Teflon.
Out of chemical research come the thousands of products that contribute to better living. The DuPont Company, maker of better things for better living.
DuPont started in 1802.
And it's always presented, all right, as a upgrade. I'm tired of eggs sticking to the pot. Well, get Teflon. But then it's all sorts of chemicals in it that you are ingesting when you eat your food. And, oh, by the way, with the sink water, you think you're running away from it. But when you take a shower, your skin is an open vessel. You have pores. So there's no way away from it. We need the Lord, man. And this is another way here, which we're going into, is that our food would be defiled. Okay? Which is a prophecy. Okay, going let's see. I know it's in the book of Ezekiel. I hate when that shit happens, man. Oh boy. I mean, is it a comma? Bread defiled, Salakia. Ezekiel 4:13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their bread, their defiled bread, okay, among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. All right. And this happened back then and it's happening now. Okay. The word defiled is thama, unclean, impure, ethically and religiously, ritually. All right. Because there's a ritualistic way that we sacrificed our animals. Okay. There's a way we care for our land. Don't you know, when you look up that custom of dusting your feet off, it goes to an ancient custom. When you came from a heathen land, you didn't even want the soil of that land to touch the soil in Jerusalem. Brothers just did a video on that. That's how serious we were about being separate and holy. We didn't even want their soil. But now the soil is Roundup ready soil. Look up Roundup ready soil, dangers of it. So all we had to do is just type in dangers of Roundup ready soil. Roundup, all right, which Monsanto, all right, has hijacked. All right, they're like a damn mafia, man. But anyway, Roundup contains glyphosate, which is toxic to standard plants and contains its target protein. Okay, the plants containing this protein are destroyed upon exposure to glyphosate, indicated by the red X. All right, Roundup ready crops have been engineered to contain a gene from agrobacteria, making them immune to the herbicide. All right, so you become dependent on them and not the Most High. And in the process, you're poisoned. Anyway.
In Delaware. It was the brainchild of a French-American chemist and industrialist named Et le thé irénée Dupont de Nemours.
Et le terre Irénée Dupont de Nemours.
Okay, not bad. I can't get the sound, but close enough. And Dupont started out as a gunpowder mill and production company out of all things. You had a lot of business supplying the wars that broke out throughout the 19th century. By the time the American Civil War hit, Dupont was the biggest supplier of gunpowder to the US military. So Dupont started out as war profiteers, which if you've seen our war profiteer videos, you know that this can be a very lucrative business to be in. Ironically enough, the founder of Dupont came to America to escape the French Revolution, but it was never enough. You lived and breathed innovation.
So this is all a part of that, you know, that beast system at the end of the day. Okay, and this is in prophecy too, in the Daniel, the 7th chapter. You know, you had the French, the Spanish, the British, then you got Babylon the Great. Although they were at war, they're all Edomites. Okay, and from the Renaissance period on, what did they do? Renaissance goes back to Italy, all right? And eventually the French, the Spanish, what did they do? Revelation 20:7, and when 1,000 years are expired, Satan, all right, which the children of Satan are the Edomites, we can go to 2 Thessalonians for that as well, that old serpent shall be loosed out of his prison, all right? Because for 1,000 years, just look up the Byzantine Empire, they weren't able to, you know, ultimately they were down. All right. They weren't able to rule. The prophecy of them having the fatness of the earth and everything else that Isaac blessed them with started here after this 1,000-year period where they were loosed out of their prison. Okay. And the scriptures say he would be loosed a little season when you go up to the 3rd verse. Okay. Revelation 20:3, and cast him into the bottomless pit. Okay, the dragon, the old serpent. Now in Revelation 12, what is the red dragon synonymous with? Herod in the Roman Empire. So this is a revival of the Roman Empire, all right, via Esau, Edom. The rebirth of Rome started at the Renaissance period. And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more. Okay, till the 1,000 year, the Western Roman Empire fell, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. Speaking of a man, all right, but he's symbolized under a dragon and a serpent. Okay, this is that piercing serpent that the Lord is going to destroy in the sea in Isaiah 27. Okay, this Bible is highly symbolic and highly spiritual. Revelation 20:7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. And what should he do? And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the 4 quarters of the earth, which is going to lead to Gog and Magog, Russia, to gather them together for World War III. So this word deceive, and what we're going into, which is just this is just 2% of their deception. All right. This is 1%. Actually 0.3%. I mean, they have so much planao to cause to stray. All right, your health and your mental go hand in hand. Okay, to lead aside from the right way. All right, even when you think you're eating lawful, you're eating unlawful. That's how this devil gets down. Okay, not to mention the education that came from the Renaissance, the classics. The way of ruling, the theories, and all of the BS that eventually started to rule the world. Creation myths and all of these things that go back to ancient Sumeria, Babylon, all right? To wonder, roam about. And that's what people are doing. They don't know what the hell is true. To lead away from the truth, to deceive, all right? To severe or fall away from the truth. And the Israelites damn sure fell away. Okay, so a big part of our falling away, all right, was this. Because even in that 1,000 year where we had them down, We were following Islam and all sorts of crazy religions, man. Christianity. Anyway, so this is what he did in his little season up till now.
Which led to the development of hundreds of different chemicals and materials over the years. Kevlar used in bulletproof armor today, Lycra, nylon, all these revolutionary materials that would go on to change the world were all made by Dupont.
Even your carpeting.
And Dupont makes all that.
But something was missing. So you started buying up all the gunpowder businesses you could find.
And your carpet is toxic. Walking on the carpet we walk on, okay, the Edomite made sure that it lowers your vibration. The lighting. How about the lighting? Look up the light bulbs, man. You know, the light bulbs go in with the frequency of the body. And Esau, the light bulbs that coincide and actually help us, he took them off the market. And the light bulbs we have, all right, they actually work against us. So we're in hell, man. And when you really know that the depth of the hell, because this is not a regular devil. As what I had Isaiah, what's that? Psalm 64 up, I believe. The heart is deep. It's not a regular everyday devil. Okay. Psalm 64 and 5. And 2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked and from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Okay? Who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune in laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Okay? Here it is. You got cancer at an all-time high. All of these sicknesses. Nobody is going to stop and say, damn, the DuPonts. All right? Cigarettes. What are they putting in the foods? Nobody's really stopping and saying that because of the constant enchantments they're throwing in your face as reality. See? So these are all snares to throw off the people, mostly important, the Israelites, because look what they put in your neighborhoods. Imagine the toxicity in that. Okay? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. See, a lot of you think and has allowed this conspiracy talk to, cloud the fact that there is really some serious, deep, evil, wicked shit going on, man, in this world. And a conspiracy is two or more planning to do evil. You mean to tell me that I'm wrong for having a theory about the BS that's going on in this world? I'm crazy? Anyway, let's just listen. Go listen to some of this. It's a 24-minute video, but a lot of it you're just going to have to watch on your own. We're just going to listen to some of it, get some scriptures.
It was so extreme that by 1912, your shopping spree caught the government's attention because you started turning the gunpowder business into your own monopoly. And as soon as you were declared a monopoly, you were ordered to divest from the industry. And your age of controlling the gunpowder business was over. Without the cash cow that was gunpowder, you needed something else to bring in revenue. And since Dupont were already experts at chemistry, you got involved in almost every chemical-related industry in the book. But everything changed in 1938. The world was on the verge of World War II, and Dr. Plunkett, whom we talked about earlier, accidentally discovers Teflon. Why don't most people know about this dark side of Dupont? Because Dupont is a master at branding. However, designing a profitable brand can be really difficult and expensive. Luckily today, there's a one-stop shop for all your graphic design and branding needs. And that one-stop shop is Canva. Canva allows you to make these amazing professional-looking Instagram stories, YouTube
Things for better living through chemistry. Nearly everything in our daily lives is improved by chemistry. From transportation to the clothes we wear, chemistry helps bring us better food, makes our homes more beautiful, more comfortable, helps protect our health, and adds to the enjoyment of our leisure time.
Forever Chemicals. Look that up. Research it. Okay?
Teflon is made using a chemical called C8, also known as PFOA, or this long word. Being that it repels water, oil, stains, and can withstand a lot of heat, Teflon was perfect to coat the tanks and military vehicles the army was going to need for World War II. Instead of rain, mud, and the elements damaging and corroding tanks over time, it would simply slide off the surface if it was coated in Teflon. The C8 in Teflon was important to keep the material from clumping while it was being applied. And at the same time, C8 or PFOA was seen as completely safe. This new wonder material could change the world. But there was a problem. Teflon production in the 1940s was expensive. So expensive that making everyday items like pans or rain jackets was unthinkable. So to make enough Teflon to meet the growing demand, while keeping expenses as low as possible, you would need an affordable source of C8s. And that's where 3M came in. Around the same time, a French engineer named Marc Gregar had the idea of coating all his fishing gear in Teflon to keep it from getting tangled. No one really knows if this ever worked, because at the exact same time, his wife had an even better idea that took the spotlight. Teflon coated pans and pots. Cooking equipment that wouldn't need to be scrubbed or soaked to get clean. People could just wipe the food off with a damp cloth. And so Teflon pans were born, and it would change the course of the food industry forever. Suddenly, the world realized all the possibilities that came with Teflon, and the manufacturing and distribution of it skyrocketed.
Some people use a little oil or butter when they cook so that things don't stick to the pan. But I use polytetrafluoroethylene.
Some sports call it non-stick for short.
And they all...
Now that's cooking.
So you sat back and watched the fortune start rolling in.
And they always do those commercials. They even did it with cigarettes. Make it seem so loving and, you know, the family oriented. But look at the end result. Look at the end result. Hell, cancer, destruction. Now, could this rich family have done the right thing and, you know, the made pans and things where all these kids? Yes, they could have. To where it was no chemicals and it helped you? Yes, they could have. But they are a sick group of people. Let's go back to Cain real quick. Cain knew about the sacrifice. He knew what the Lord required on the right-hand side. Right? But what did he do? His own damn thing. Now Cain, the spirit of Cain, rules the earth. And what else did Cain family line start? That's where you first see the use of weaponry. Right? As you go down here, because this is Cain's family line when you read Genesis, the 4th chapter. Okay. Seth, all right, his family line is through Adam is in Genesis, the 5th chapter. So both righteous and wicked, just as they came out of Isaac with Jacob and Esau, came out of Adam. Okay. So Moses is giving you this history to let you know, all right, and the spirit of Cain returned through Esau after the flood. Eventually, that spirit would come back through Esau. But it says, Genesis 4:22, in Zillah she also bare Tubal Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. So when you go into it, weaponry. Okay, let's look it up in the NLT, see what it says. Weaponry goes back to Cain, you know, thug life, which now niggas are the face of it, right? It says, Lamech's other wife, Zillah, gave birth to a son named Tubal Cain. He became an expert in forging tools of bronze and iron. And when you go into the Josephus, it breaks it down. It was a family full of villains, man. They were blessed with the sword, just like Esau. But when you go up here, let's see here. Genesis 4 and 6. Showing you the priesthood was back here too, because Abel's sacrifice was accepted, Cain's was rejected. Genesis 44 and 6. So that priesthood on the left-hand side is still here. Okay? In an alternative way. And Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? Okay? If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Okay, now let's read this in the NLT. Because here it is, Esau, even unto this day, when he gets called out, all right, he's hurt, but nigga, you're wrong. All right, you knew what to do. You didn't do what was right. Anyway, it says, why are you so angry? The Lord asked Cain, why do you look so dejected? You will be accepted if you do what is right, but if you refuse to do what is right, then watch out. Sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you, but you must subdue it and be its master, and that's Esau. He is the man of sin. Okay? He gave away the birthright. He's a complete loser, man. And then you call him out on it, and he blames Jacob. He blames Abel. You know? This is the goddamn devil, man. And now he runs the whole entire world with that logic. And this has destroyed the things that they've done. They're destroying. These are crimes on humanity. Yeah, we know the focal point is Jacob, but in the process, they destroy a lot of people, man, even their own kind.
The world started going crazy for non-stick pans, self-cleaning ovens, and Teflon-coated furniture. But you knew this craze was unsustainable. You see, even though the US government didn't recognize PFOA as a dangerous chemical, both Dupont and 3M knew it was potentially toxic. With every batch of C8 you bought from 3M, the instructions for disposing it were the same: incinerate it or send it to chemical waste facilities. Even your own disposal instructions specify that it should never be flushed into sewers or surface water, which means that way back before Teflon grew into the global material it is today, you and 3M had an inkling that eventually something was going to go wrong. But that didn't stop you from making millions from the new Teflon-coated inventions that were being created almost every day. So how did DuPont go about following those instructions to dispose of C8s? Dumping it into the planet, of course. In one town alone, Parkersburg, West Virginia, the DuPont Teflon manufacturing plant dumped hundreds of thousands of pounds of C8 into the Ohio River, and that was just the beginning.
Absolute madness.
What's this Silverstone-coated fry pan doing in an oven? Letting you know that durable non-stick Silverstone is available on bakeware, such as cake pans, muffin pans, cookie sheets, and loaf pans.
And they put billions of dollars into, what's the word? Advertising these things. Right? Oh, man.
And since most foods won't stick to Silverstone, cleaning up is quick and easy. So let Silverstone take you out of the frying pan and into bakeware.
Because the process to manufacture Teflon had been so expensive to begin with, you needed to keep expenses as low as possible. And dumping C8 into rivers and unprotected landfills was so much cheaper than actually disposing it the right way or building incinerators.
Wow. But
dumping C8 into unlined pits and rivers meant it spread rather quickly. So within a few years, PFOA chemicals had seeped into the groundwater surrounding Parkersburg and nearby towns. The same groundwater that was being used to produce tap water, ready to drink for more than 100,000 people. You and 3M had your suspicions, but you didn't want to find out whether or not they were true. I mean, if you really didn't know C8 was toxic, there would always be some plausible deniability. The I didn't know so you can't blame me card that the government always pulls. But it got to a point where researchers at Dupont just couldn't let their curiosity go. And in 1961, they started secret medical studies on PFOA and C8, behind closed doors more than 2 decades after mass production of Teflon started. And what they found was horrifying. C8, the same chemical that had been marketed as completely safe for decades.
And the comments are just, wow. Wow. People are just giving all sorts of testimonies. Look, 2441, 144.
Was extremely
call hello,
toxic to
Yahabashim
human
Yao
animals. Exposure to C8 increased the size of liver in rats, rabbits, and dogs. And if it had this effect on animals, who knows what it would have had on humans. But the profits were just too good to switch off, so the sale of Teflon continued, and the research results were carefully locked up. For a few years, it looked like you could keep your secrets.
And they work hand in hand with the pharmaceutical company, which then the pharmaceutical company could then create medicines, all right? Petroleum based medicines, not natural medicines, to come up off of the sickness that is being caused by what we're listening to.
That was until DuPont researchers discovered crazy high concentrations of PFOA in your workers' own blood, and the race was on. It was only a matter of time before something happened that exposed the dangers of PFOAs. So to make sure the victims stay quiet, you had to get to them first. So DuPont started watching and monitoring their workers in secret. In 1981, 3M reported that PFOA caused birth defects in rats. So you reassigned pregnant women away from the Teflon manufacturing line and carefully observed their babies for any sort of defects. And when
Do y'all hear this shit? Oh, and it gets deeper. This is child's play.
2 out of 7 babies were born with eye defects, well, you deny any and all responsibility. Then in 1984, another report came out that PFOA dust was getting through the factory chimneys, settling on land far away from the factory, and had gotten into the local water supply. But again, you do not disclose this damning information. By the 90s, your PFOA business is worth more than $1 billion. This is generational wealth only a few could dream of, and you work
Generational wealth based on evil and wickedness. Job 21:7. Wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, and are mighty in power? How do they do this? And see, when we get Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians, now you know, all right, just like Pharaoh, the Lord has allowed this man to build up to this point. And now his pride is even, he's like, well, basically, we can erase the Most High using CERN. We can figure everything out and just start existence over. And while we're doing it, we'll give them the metaverse. Give them the metaverse. Their seed is established in their sight with them and their offspring before their eyes. And then here it is. You have our women, in particular the black woman, and not you sisters who are, you know, repenting and coming back. But what's their main saying to the so-called black man and the Israelite man? Get on Esau's level. Why ain't you on their level? Look what they got. Start your own DuPont. Right? You dusty nigga. With somebody else's hair in their head. Right? Y'all sitting back complaining. They balling. Look what they got. And your ass got like 4 tumors growing inside your ass that you don't even know about because of the water you drinking. Okay? Everybody got cancer, right? It's just like a cold now. Oh, you got cancer? Shit, man. Take some Robitussin. So their seed is established. That's generational wealth. See, we're not worried about the average everyday Edomite. Okay? Kathy from work. No, we're not worried about those people. They're not even going to make it out of the destruction, brothers. We're not worried about those people. The people who we are worried about are the rich, elite, banking, demonic families, okay, who deal directly with Satan and those spirits on the left-hand side and control this world that we know. Okay? Their seed is established in their sight with them. Okay? And their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of God upon them. Okay? And like Asaph, if you're not rooted, he was like, man, that he was envious of the wicked. Okay? Let's get that in Psalm 73. Psalm 73 and 2. And we all go through this at times. But now we know. All right. We've all went through this. Psalm 73 and 2. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envious at the foolish. And these people are not smart in righteousness. They're wicked. Their logic, the way they live their lives, the things they do don't reflect a person of wisdom. They're foolish. And folly is set in great dignity under their rule. But our people, especially our women, men too, look at them as if they're God. They're so smart. We got to get on their level. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, but in their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. And the wealth they have is above, like Floyd Mayweather, we look at him and think he's wealthy. That is crumbs to the elite. They laugh and mock at that guy. And the stuff that people like Mayweather and these so-called, black entertainers, black excellent P. Diddy, the stuff that they have to do, because they're like the gatekeepers. Stuff they do behind closed doors is absolutely sick. The black boule. Right? They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They set their mouths against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. This is their philosophy. They're against Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. They blaspheme the angels, the true Israelites. They give you all of these folly-filled theories that run the world. Your children, when you grew up, when I went to college, I was being taught theories. All right? Theories. All right? And when you go into the lives of these particular men, Darwin and I can not, Marx and all of these various different people, they were a bunch of crazy druggies, pedophiles. But their philosophies walk throughout the whole earth because they have the means and money to buy out, silence. Therefore, his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out on them, and the wicked are going to get those dregs. And they say, "How doth God know?" And there is no, and is there knowledge in the Most High? And that's the mindset of these demons, man. And that's why we're like, how long, Lord? Take them down. You see all of this. Stop, but there's a set measure that the Lord has, and they're not going to go past that. And we're close to it. That's why they're finna lose their damn mind. Okay, and you're going to trust these people, right, to tell you to do this and to do that. I'm going to just leave it at that. You're going to trust these people. You're going to allow them to scare you into submitting into their order. Hell nah, man. Hey, the beauty of the remnant is we're saying hell nah with these devils, man. Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in this world. They increase in riches. And it's a spirit, the prince of the power of the air, the prince of this world that have nothing to do in the Lord. Now, when you go, behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Verily, I have cleansed my heart in vain and have washed my hands in innocency. As we've repented, for all the day long I have been plagued and chastened every morning. You wake up, it's like Groundhog Day. Meanwhile, these people have, I mean, you can't even put a letter on the money they have, the wealth they have. Right? But you wake up, it's the same pillow, the same curtains, the same scene. You walk into the kitchen, it's the same cups. I'm a detox this month. I need to do this. I want to go here. I want to do that. Vexed, worried about your child. Okay? No true connection with your family. If I say I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children. You try to tell Jake what's really going on, they get pissed off at you. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me. When we really go into what's going on, some people shut down. That's too much for me. I'm going to just live my life, them type of nigga. I'm going to just live my life. I can't worry about that. But until I went into the sanctuary of the Most High, then understood I therein. All right? So when you come into this truth, you understand that there is an end to this shit, man. Excuse my French. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castest them down into destruction. And this is where you devils are headed. Because you're nasty, you're wicked, you're wrong. And we're finally living in the time where no one wants to listen to you anymore. Let's watch a little bit more of this. Oh, well, we'll go back to Job 21 after this and get a few more and end it off. Woe now, you rich men, right?
We're just gonna give that up over C8 possibly being dangerous. So Teflon sales and ads kept growing. We're born with eye defects? Well, you deny any and all responsibility. Then in 1984, another report came out that PFOA dust was getting through the factory chimneys. Settling on land far away from the factory, it had gotten into the local water supply. But again, you do not disclose this damning information. By the 90s, your PFOA business is worth more than $1 billion. This is generational wealth only a few could dream of. And you weren't just gonna give that up over C8 possibly being dangerous. So Teflon sales and ads kept growing.
Chemistry is the practice of magic. People think of Teflon and think of frying pans. Teflon is not one thing. Putting Teflon on a surface will stop bugs from crawling up trees. They'll fall right off the tree. Teflon as a chain loop is something I've come up with for bicycles. You know, only Dupont makes Teflon. And you can use it in satellites, on fabrics, or leather. When's the last time you heard about a leather raincoat? You can let your imagination run wild. It's not often that you get to make something new in this world.
While Dupont kicked the can down the road once more. Except now, decades of C8 exposure had passed, and its effects were finally starting to show.
Perfect eggs don't always start with the egg. They start with Silverstone. It's the most durable nonstick surface ever made by Dupont. And just to prove our point, we'll cook some eggs with these letters and still not hurt Silverstone's non-stick performance. See? So no matter what you're making.
Parkersburg, West Virginia, the late 90s. A farmer by the name Wilbur Tennant was going through something strange. He had come across 2 dead deer and 2 dead cows at a nearby river. The deers had blood coming out of their noses.
I've taken 2 dead deer and 2 dead cattle off of this ripple right here. They tell me the deer died with hemorrhaging disease. The blood run out of their nose and out of their mouth, but they've never, DNR has never checked into it. They need EPA of the state of West Virginia is trying to cover this stuff up.
Coincidentally, over the past few years, 153 of his 600 cows have been found dead, all with the same MO. They show bleeding from their noses and had signs of serious illness and damage to their internal organs. All the cows had access to that same river.
A year later, he filmed what happened to his cows.
She's hemorrhaged out the nose. This is 153 of these animals that I've lost on this farm.
Coincidentally, not long before the cow started getting sick, the farmer's brother has sold 66 acres of land to Dupont to be used as a non-hazardous landfill. Also coincidentally, the river led upstream to a factory known as the Dupont Washington Works. It didn't take a genius to put 2 and 2 together, so he went to Dupont, but obviously they denied everything. What was even stranger was that whenever he went...
So this affects the ecosystem, it affects the animals. Let's get Habakkuk 2 real quick. Habakkuk chapter 2 and 17. For the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee, and the spoil of beast, which made them afraid because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land and of the city. When you go up, verse 16, thou art filled with shame for glory, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered, because we drunk of the cup. Okay? So now you're being uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. You Edomites. I mean, look what you do to the animals. Let's look this up real quick. Okay, you sent animals out of space. They died. Okay, look, they use dogs in, you know, smoking experiments. And then you think they're getting investigated. Okay, look, you got the dogs hooked up to the machines. Right? Being used to test cigarettes by these tobacco companies. Anyway, Job 21. And 9, their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of God upon them. Their bull gendereth and felleth not, their cow calveth and casteth not her calf. Their animals are healthy, what they're eating. Okay, but the stuff you're eating, the dying is you know, an animal that died of itself, poison. They put dye in the meat to make it seem like it just came off the farm. They send forth their little ones like a flock, and their children dance. All right, them damn, you know, face coverings on. They take the timbrel and the harp and rejoice around the organ. This is what the Illuminati, wicked elite do. Those Rothschild parties. Let's look up Rothschild party. Which Rothschild means red shield. Look at them little crazy little weirdos. Put the goat over their face. And this is when you seen that, if you saw the Squid Games, all right, the rich men, the elite men who came in to watch, they had those coverings over their face. Yeah, they were showing you what they really about and what they really do. These are the people who rule the world, man. And a lot of your leaders rubbed elbows with these people because they were set up by these people. Martin Luther the King. Anyway, when you go down, it's a good chapter, but for the sake of time, I'm going to end it off here. Verse 27, behold, I know your thoughts and the devices which ye have wrongfully imagined against me. For ye say, where is the house of the prince, and where is the dwelling places of the wicked? Have ye not asked them that go by the way, and do ye not know their tokens, that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction? They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Okay? They're reserved unto this day. Who shall declare his way to his face, and who shall repay him for what he have done? And like I say, they try to set up movements like BLM, okay, the Black Panthers and the rest of these groups to try to marginalize what they've really done and what the complaint of the oppressed is about. But it's far deeper than slavery, right? Slavery is just the 2.2% of the evil these people have done. And this is an example. Okay, so you can look at the rest of that video on your own. I'm going to leave it there. I did have Job 20 as well, you know. Job 20:4, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, that little season, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Though his excellency, which is evil, his right hand is the right hand of falsehood, mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish away like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? So there won't be any Edomites at some point in the future after the 1,000-year period. All right. So, yeah.
Went to anyone in town for help, doctors, vets, and even local politicians and lawyers. No one was willing to help him.
Why? Because they're paid off. These people have enough money to, even if you do have a lawsuit against them, they'll just break you off millions of dollars. Okay. But still make trillions and billions. Okay, like the dude Zuckerberg, which I don't know what the hell's going on with that dude. He lost $7 billion in one day. It was cool. 2nd Esdras 11:42. All right, now this is speaking of Rome, right? But Rome is rebirthed in the earth right now through Babylon the Great, America, NATO, and the EU. Also, all right, the power structures that preceded, all right, America, Britain, you know, going back to the Renaissance, you know, the Spanish, the French, and so forth. It says, for thou hast afflicted the meek, all right, 2nd Esdras 11:42. Thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, thou hast destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Therefore is thy wrongful dealing, and that's what we just seen. Okay, come up to the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee. The highest has looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended. His abominations are fulfilled. Esau. Okay. And therefore appear no more thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body. All right, the Caesars back then, the rulers, bunch of weirdos, that all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her. And that's going to come through what? Esau being the end of the world, being taken down, and all of these unjust, injurious practices on the people, the animals, the earth, the species, the ecosystem stopped. On to the next, man. Shalom.